Good morning, it is Jane with Scraptastic and today we're doing Movie and a Stitch, and I'm actually doing two movies, doing my X movie as well as my Y movie. Now my X movie, what I chose was Extreme. Now this is a Spanish action thriller martial arts film. It was 2021, directed by Daniel Ben Meyer, written by Teo Garcia, Ivan Ledesma, Genaro Rodriguez, starring Teo Garcia, Oscar Giannata, Sergio Perez Mencheta, and Oscar Casas. Little plot. Very little plot. Basically, it's the story of a hitman who, his adoptive brother kills the father that the adoptive brother has known as his father. Kills him because he wants to take over the conclave. So, and the adoptive brother has decided to bow out of the conclave, out of the family, get out of the business with the father's blessing, but the brother is afraid that he will come back and try to take over the conclave, so he sends hitmen to kill the adoptive brother. And the adoptive brother actually has a son, and the new fella, not only after killing his father, because now he's the leader of the conclave, he kills his adoptive brother's son. And he blows up the apartment, leaving him for dead. But he doesn't die. He survives. So, you don't really get a sense that he has survived until there's this young teen that shows up, and he's hustling for the Russian drug dealers. He's selling drugs to make money, to help care for his family, the whole 9 yards. And but he's also skimming a little off the top. And one of the Russians catches him and beats him up to a pulp. Pretty much beats him up, but the adoptive brother that you think is dead shows up and kicks some butt and saves his life. And they become friends, and he wants him to teach him all those martial arts, which he does. You know, blah, 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 and all this nonsense. Well, the Russian mob, the conclave, finds out, and in the long run, they send someone after this young kid, but he's not home. He's actually dealing drugs, you know, for the Russians. And they catch him again stealing and all this kind of stuff. They beat him pretty badly. But the young kid, the teen, goes home, and he has the adoptive brother with him. But the adoptive brother tells him to wait, and he has a gun, because he noticed that downstairs there's a car, and he's pretty sure it's the conclave, you know, that kind of stuff. Well, when the young teen enters the home, his entire family has been murdered by the conclave. So at that point, the adoptive brother determines he's going to get revenge on his brother and starts to methodically take out all these hitmen, take out the people that his brother sends, that kind of thing. But at the very end, there's a big matchup between the brother and the adoptive brother, and the adoptive brother's somewhat girlfriend. At the very end, you find out, you know, they have this romance thing, and the kid notices it. But it looks like all is coming to an end, because the brother is practically beating the adoptive brother to death. Only to find that the woman that has been helping because they're plotting their revenge. She arises and starts to beat the snot out of everybody, and then the adoptive brother breaks in. And at the very end, there's a scene where he's holding his brother's head. The woman is behind him with a knife. He has a knife in his hands. And the brother, when he killed his father, asked him, head or heart? And so the adoptive brother asks him head or heart. And he gets it both. So the bad guy, you know, the really bad guy does get it in the end. But it was just a lot of gratuitous violence. It really was. I would give it maybe 1 star, maybe 1.5 out of 5. It was, okay. Now, for my Why movie. And I watched both of these on Netflix. My Why movie was a 2021 film called Yara. And that is spelled Y-A-R-A. It is a 2021 Italian film directed by Marco Tullio Giordana, written by Graziano Diana, starring Isabella Ragonese, Alessio Boni, Roberto Zabetti. It is based on a true story and follows an Italian prosecutor in her attempts to find the killer of a 13-year-old girl, Yara Gambirassi. I'm probably mispronouncing that. It was released in November the 5th on Netflix, 2021. And at the very beginning of the movie, it starts out with this girl, and you see her, she is a ribbon gymnast, I believe is what she was. But she says, yes, my name is Yara, which is Arabic, which means butterfly. And basically, what happens is you follow this scene where the girl goes home to her parents. She's getting a boombox for the hip-hop dancers to be able to do their little thing. Her father has the boombox, so she asks if she can take it back to the gym. And they tell her yes, but don't be late. You know, be home by, I think it was 6:30 or something like that. So she takes the boombox in, and then you see the scene where she's walking home in the snow, and a van passes by her, kind of stops. She looks away, and then proceeds to walk on. It follows the detail of how this Italian prosecutor asked for volunteers from the community to step up and help find the girl. And the Italians, they show them all over the place, looking everywhere for this young lady. It was a small village, very small, I think, and they can't find her. And a couple of months later, they actually find her body in a field. So then the investigator again steps up and asks the people to donate their DNA, which they do. And it's a really difficult movie because you're seeing the emotions that play out throughout this, and it's just interesting because the prosecutor is a female, and typical male world, you know, they think it would be better if a male prosecutor handled the case, did the investigation. But she, at the very last hour, she finds a clue through DNA from a professor at a university who has found a certain DNA link, and they do find the killer. But it's about 96 minutes, and I found it rather interesting. It was very good, even though you know that it was dubbed in English, although there are points where it looks like she is speaking clearly in English. But it was a good movie. I would give it 4 out of 5 stars being based on a true story. The interesting thing is that I'm going to read you this part, is that this, it was a very brutal murder. They actually find the killer's mother. And they believe that the father, you know, that she has a child, and they determine that the male child that she has, is not the killer at all. And then they determined that the father had an affair, possibly with someone else. And they do, like I said, they find the killer. And they find phone records, you know, all the fun stuff like that. The interesting thing is the closing credits of the movie. It reveals that on July the 17th, 2017, the Court of Appeal confirmed the guilty verdict, and with the Supreme Court later confirming the same on the 11th of October 2018, a gentleman named, and I can't pronounce his first name, Massimo, was guilty. But he has, to this day, never ceased to proclaim his innocence, and he keeps requesting findings for new evaluations, and the motions have been rejected so far. But it was a pretty good movie. So that is the two movies. I will show you what I was working on, and I did get it finished. You'll see this again in the Scraptastic Yarns video. It was just a granny rectangle Afghan. This Afghan, someone had asked me what this center yarn was. I don't know what it was, but I do know it was a red heart. For some reason I would say bubblegum, but that's not it. Bubblegum was this bright pink. But it was a red heart. And what I did is I just used small balls here and there and crocheted it together, or partial skeins. At the prayer shawl, lots of times people don't want to take the balls that are there because we do get a lot of balls. And so sometimes I'll take a bag of balls and just crochet with them, and that's what I did with this. So that is it for this one today. I do know what my Z movie is. I will be watching it this week and then reporting on it next week. So I will see you again soon. Remember to choose kindness, be kind to one another. Bye.